Hello everyone and welcome back guys to round 9 of the LCR Indycar season, where today we're here back for the final road course race of the year. Yeah, this time around we're back at Indy GP. Obviously next week, of course, will be the Indy 250. So obviously if you aren't already, make sure you try and get yourself subscribed. We're trying to hit 500 subscribers at the moment on the channel. So yeah, if you could help me get one step closer to that, that would be greatly appreciated. But yeah, the final road race then of this series. You know, we've got 2 more rounds to go. We could officially win the championship here today. All we need is second place if Joe wins. If Joe comes second, I think we need 4th or 5th. So yeah, hopefully, obviously, we're going to see if we can obviously try and win once more. They've had a really good run of form on the road courses this season. Won every race we've done except for the one we disconnected in back at Silverstone, and even then with 3 laps from home and it's still leading. So it would be nice, obviously, to finish off the season on the road courses with 1 last win. But Joe was looking incredibly quick this week. His tyre wear seemed to be a lot better than last week as well, so it's going to be very, very interesting to see how this would all go then. But getting ready to go, and Joe has been, let's say, I'm going to say a little bit cheeky on that start there. Obviously, you go on the bricks. I personally felt like he jumped that a little bit down in towards the first corner. They're not too sure what that run is through turn 1 either, but hey-ho, we won't worry about that all too much at the start of this race there. But yeah, this one though, like I said, the main aim was just obviously to come P2 if we had sort of any incident or anything like that. You know, we just weren't trying to take any too big risks. Obviously, Indy next week is going to be a complete lottery. So yeah, obviously, we don't really want to run the risk there. You know, if we can seal the deal here today, that would certainly be the aim, obviously, including the drop rounds and everything like that. Yeah, all we need is a second place here. But yeah, like I said though, Joe was looking incredibly quick around this circuit. There had only been about half a tenth between us in qualifying. So yeah, he was looking tremendous and ready for this race. As well as the fact, yeah, obviously, if you watched the Nürburgring video last time out, I would definitely recommend going back and checking out if you didn't. Tyre wear obviously was a big factor in that race, but this time around it seemed to be the opposite situation where Joe actually had better tyre wear than myself as well. So we're going to have to be really, really mindful of that over the course of this stint. Now, we're coming towards the end of lap 1 there. You can see we are still in the slipstream of our championship rival there. We're coming down in towards turn 1, just bouncing off the rev limiter there, and that could prove critical in this race, as we would just probably have the gearing about 2 miles an hour, 2-3 miles an hour below where we probably should have had it there. It was great for qualifying, it allowed us to get that pole position, but just in the race stream, you know, if we're stuck in this slipstream for too long, we might find ourselves bouncing off the rev limiter more and more often over the course of this race. But early on though, just trying to fill Joe's mirrors, you know, get right under the bumper in a couple of places, let the proximity arrow really light up there, you know, see if we can try and force an error early on in this race. You know, like I said, I don't really want to go for any big sort of risky moves, so if we can try and force a mistake out of him and slip on by, that would be rather ideal as well. So as you can see, just coming into the corners there, really just trying to like coast it into the apex, get as close to his diffuser as we can there, and just seeing if we can make him, you know, sort of just miss his apex slightly, just not quite get on the power where he needs to be, and things like that. Then we're coming towards the end of lap 8, though, already a quarter of the way through this race. You can see we're all over the back of Joe out of the final corner here. Are we going to be potentially able to make a move down in towards toe 1? It seems like he has got ever so slightly better top end speed. We're actually having to stick right in this toe, so we get a tiny bit less slipstream, weird Forza stuff. So we were actually bouncing off the rev limiter pretty much into the braking zone there. As you can see, just trying to carry a little bit of extra momentum, as there is a tiny bit of contact through turn 2 there, as Joe just a little bit offline. Clearly not quite where he wanted to have his car situated on the circuit there. But heading through in towards the next couple of corners once again, they're trying to take a couple of alternate lines there. You can see really just trying to dive late on the brakes. Like I said, once again, fill up his mirrors, fill up his proximity arrows there, so we have to take a bit of grass on the exit. Don't exactly allow ourselves the best run off the corner there. We're still close to his back end still as we head out onto the back straightaway once more here. But yeah, tyre wear though was going to be incredibly tough around this circuit. You know, for me, I was really, really struggling with it. It seemed Joe was having a bit of an easier time of it around here. So you can see by lap 15 though, being stuck in all this dirty air early on, the tyres were completely destroyed, and obviously there was no chance we were going to try and make the 2-stop work around this circuit. So as you can see, as we head down in towards the next chicane here, we've still got to do another lap in this car as well there, and just the tyres really, really going off now, trying to drag it through the corners there. And 1 lap later, you can see actually as we head on to lap 16, obviously this would be our pit-in lap. Joe would pull that a massive gap over us after he'd been able to keep his tyres in better nick, not stuck in the dirty air. Obviously these Indy cars prone to a lot of aero rot as well there. As we head down in towards the pit lane, you can see just how much we're struggling. Normally an easy flat corner, we get inches away from clipping the grass there, and that would have put us into the wall, and that would have pretty much put us out of this race there. So incredibly lucky that we were able to get away with that one there as we head back down the pit lane. Ben's obviously going to inherit the lead. He always likes to get a couple of laps led in these races there. But now our teammate Jork all over the back of us as well. He'd been having a big battle with Apex that we sort of dropped back into early on in this race there. But yeah, Joe had been able to pull out quite a hefty margin from all that as well. And obviously by the time Ben will come round to make his pit stop, we obviously will still be up in the all-important P2 position in this race here. As you can see, 1 lap later, heading through in towards the final couple of corners. Yeah, Joe's got about a 1,300-foot margin at this stage of the race there. So obviously we're still going to keep pushing. We're still going to see if there's any opportunity in this race. But, you know, P2. That was my whole focus over the course of this evening. You know, we can't let it go to Indy for the Indy 250 next week, because that place is just going to be an absolute lottery there. But you can see over the next few laps, though, as we head on towards the final lap of this race, the gap to Joe had really come back down a lot in the second half of this race here, as we actually clipped the cones on the inside there. But yeah, the pace had been really good once we weren't stuck in that dirty air. I definitely felt like, obviously, if the aero wash wasn't as big a thing, we still had the pace over in there. We've been able to keep the tyres in much better nick in this second stint as well. So maybe, perhaps, if, you know, the run down to turn 1 had been a little bit different there, it could have been a very different story in this race as well there. But still, heading on to the final lap, though, I'm a little bit gutted, to be honest, because this will, for obviously those of you that follow LCR, be the final LCR race that I actually commentate. Obviously, at the time we're recording this, the Indy 250 has been completed. Obviously, that video will be coming live very soon. And yeah, LCR, unfortunately, is going to be shutting down. So a very sad time, I'll be honest. I don't really know what we're going to do as we look in towards the new year. I've got a couple of leagues that I'm going to sign up for, but it's going to be weird. No more LCR. Obviously, we've had a really successful run in LCR. Obviously, once we finish this race, I'll give you guys a quick rundown through all of our stats over the course of the entire league there. But a massive thanks to Dan. I always say at the end of these seasons anyway, but for all the hard work he's done with LCR Forza over the years. Obviously, all the leagues he's run. Obviously, we've done some F1, we've done some Rallying, we've done Formula 2, we've done WRX, we've done some Project Cars. It's all been brilliant fun there. But Joe is going to come through to win this race. We come through for P2 in the end with a 106.087 there, which would, I'm pretty certain, be the fastest lap of the day there. But I've seen near enough 0.4 of a second over Joe, which goes to show how good the pace still was towards the end there. But yeah, like I said, though, a massive thanks to Dan, who did actually sneak a podium in the final race that he was going to be able to do of the season there. But yeah, that is the last live commentary, or post-commentary, and I should say, I'll ever do from LCR. Obviously, we've got the live commentated Indy 250 next week. Obviously, at the time, I wasn't aware that any of this was going to be happening. It all sort of just happened after the final race of the series there. But, I mean, we did 8 seasons of LCR, 7 championships. It was only IndyCar Season 1 that got away from us there, and that was as well down to the fact I had to miss a couple of races due to work, as well as I just generally didn't quite have the pace that I probably needed to get this championship victory there. But yeah, 7 championships though, 1 in the V8 Supercars, 3 Formula E seasons, sorry if I'm not mistaken there, 1 Formula 4 and 2 IndyCar championships as well. I think there was 71 LCR races, or 72 LCR Forza races. We got 68 starts, the second highest there, only one behind Dan, who had 69 starts there. Of those 68 starts, we had 43 wins, so obviously over a 50% win ratio there, and 61 podiums from the 68 races that I did as well. That's only 7 races where we didn't finish on the podium as well. But yeah, a massive thank you to all of you guys that have continued to support me throughout the entirety of LCR Forza 2021. We're going to have a bit of a look around, see what else we can find in the Forza community. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we will be back very soon with the Indy 250. Hopefully, we can finish LCR with a bang.